Hey YouTube family and GN subs, you have been hearing about mass deportation. What we're going to do today is the first of many segments that are going to provide you with useful information if you are stopped by ICE and or if you are detained. You have certain rights in the US, and we are going to go through these rights. And I just want you to know that my office has a removal attorney retained. My office also has a civil rights attorney that is retained. We are going to fight immigration during the next 4 years. So today we're going to talk about your rights and what they are, and a lot to get to today, so let's get at it. All right, so what are we talking about? We're talking about arrests and detentions in the US, okay? Arrests coming across the border are a whole different ball game. We're not going to discuss that today. This is for those of you who are currently here in the US, either in DACA status, TPS status, adjustment status. Even if you are undocumented, you have rights in the United States. ICE is Immigration, Customs, and Enforcement. They are the arm of DHS that is responsible for apprehensions, detentions, and removal of individuals that are in the United States. Usually what happens, there is a notice to appear. This is a charging document that charges an individual that is unlawful in the United States. And again, together with that charging document, there is a warrant. It's called an administrative warrant. It can only be issued by a supervisor, and this is the documentation that ICE needs to apprehend and detain an individual. They just can't go without authority and detain an individual except for certain circumstances, and we'll get to that, okay? So what you need to know generally is that ICE just can't pick you up for no reason at all, okay? All right, another good thing to know is that this warrant cannot be used by local state law enforcement to apprehend individuals and bring them into federal custody. That is a no-no. It's against law. Obviously, this law in some states, Texas, Arizona, Florida, they've been abusing the law and apprehending individuals without proper due process. Okay, now that's a big word, due process. What does that mean? We'll get to that. So there are two exceptions where ICE can pick up individuals. One is at the border when individuals are coming in unlawfully, and two is where they have reason to believe. And we will get into the reason to believe standard. All right, so let's talk about what are your due process rights. Fourth Amendment. What is the Fourth Amendment? Fourth Amendment protects any individual, including undocumented aliens, against unreasonable searches and seizures. All right, it's well settled law that the Fourth Amendment applies to immigration matters. All right, we talked a little bit about what is reason to believe and when does this come into play. This comes into play where ICE can, in fact, conduct a warrantless detention and arrest, okay? But it's very limited. ICE has to have reason to believe. What does that mean? Reason to believe means that a reasonable person would believe that the individual is in violation of federal law and is likely to escape ICE's apprehension of the individual, okay? But that is very, very limited. To have a warrantless arrest, they have to have reason to believe that the individual is unlawful. So for example, you cannot do it by appearance only. So if an individual looks to be a foreigner, you can't just arrest them because you think they're in violation of law. That is unlawful. The Supreme Court has clearly said that is unlawful. You can't go into a workplace and see individuals who look to be illegal employees working in the workplace and start apprehending individuals. Unlawful. All right, so the Supreme Court has also said you cannot use excessive force. That applies to apprehensions by ICE of immigrants who may be illegal in the United States. So excessive force is a no-no. Now, this is a big one. They cannot come into your home without a judicial warrant. It has to be a judge that issues a warrant for them to come inside your home. You have more protection in your home. So if ICE is at your door, you indicate to them, well, you need a warrant. I am not consenting for you to come into my house and question me, okay? You have those rights, so be aware of those rights. Also at the workplace, they need a judicial warrant. Also in front of the courthouse, they need a judicial warrant in order to ask you any type of questions, okay? So know your rights. Ask very politely, very respectfully. do you have a warrant? Okay, and you do not consent to speaking with them if they do not have a warrant at all. All right, so what I have done, I've attached in the description box below a very good congressional outline of all of these rights that I just talked about. So you can go ahead and you can read them, know your rights. All right, in the future here, we are going to give you exactly what you need to do with an encounter with ICE, how to do it. There are certain limits. We're going to talk about lawsuits. We're going to talk about suing the government. That is going to be my life mission. I'm telling you, the next 4 years, there are going to be tons of lawsuits against the government. Hey, YouTube family and GN subs, thanks so much for watching GrayLaw TV. You can always get me at hrg@graylaw.com. Leave a comment. I answer all of my GN subs. Hey, we'll see you next week.